Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mason. Because of the quarantine, trying to find ways to connect, stay sane, and I'm gonna do a founder series where we interview different founders each day this week. Let them share their startups with us and tell us a little bit about what they're doing. Um, we don't know how it's going to go. Thanks for tuning in. Let's have our first guest on. It's Parsa Rezvani, who's originally from the Bay Area. He's a UCLA grad, and he started a peer tutoring marketplace called Tutor Fly, and he's going to tell us a little bit about that today. What's up, Parsa?
Awesome. Hey, Mason, thanks so much for having me. Glad to be here.
Thanks for being the first.
Yeah, of
It's not
course.
easy. So,
Yeah,
work with us. We're going to ask. We got some people sending in questions while we do this, so we'll sort through those and we'll get to them. But first, just tell us what is Tutorfly, how you got started, and what you guys are doing today.
yeah, sure thing, Mason. So as you mentioned, we're a peer tutoring marketplace, but what we're really focused on is empowering student success. So our peer tutors are in high school and college and recent graduates. Um, and so they focus on improving grades, but also improving the soft skills of students, which is a big differentiator. So we can help students be more confident, improve their study skills, and yeah, get the results that parents want. So tutoring sessions can be in person or online. We're live in almost all 50 states right now during the whole coronavirus outbreak. Like you mentioned, right, most of the sessions are online, and we strongly encourage everyone to be safe. But we're really just here growing, and we really believe in the power of peer tutoring based off of our personal experience to the founders. And we're just happy to continue to grow.
When you say you're live in all 50 states, were there regulatory issues in trying to launch your platform?
So I mean, we're a technology-based platform. So in terms of most of our tutors, right, we focused in California first, where we're based, and then slowly through word of mouth, we expanded in some targeted channels as well. I would say we're more focused on the safety of our users, and which allows us to align with what is required legally. So, for example, if parents tutors can always opt in to accepting or declining contact requests, kind of like you probably get a flurry of requests on Facebook or Instagram. You probably decline most of them, Mason. We allow our tutors that option as well. And then on the parent side too, they're really worried about who's going to be working with their kids and making sure they want it to be a safe interaction. So if they want online sessions, they can do that. And they can actually look through profiles of the tutors and make sure that they're vetted and onboarded properly. So we take that really seriously.
Yeah, I noticed on your site that was one of the things you guys really champion is why parents trust your tutors over other platforms.
Yep.
If I'm a tutor, how do I get on? How do I tutor a little kid, or what am I trying to do?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, first of all, we do our best to find tutors that are, yeah, knowledgeable in the subjects, but we strongly believe that a smart person isn't necessarily a great tutor, right? The tutor needs to be empathetic and communicative. So anyone can actually apply to tutor, tutorfly.org/apply. If you wanted to go on right now, you could apply. You do have to make it through a 4-step vetting process, Mason. So, hopefully you can push through that. Hopefully you can make it through that last step. Once you're live, that's when you can interact with clients who will send you contact requests.
Very cool. So is there like, how big is the Tutor Fly community, and how do you curate that? And how much of what you're seeing is word of mouth? How much of it is advertising? How are you growing that user
Yeah.
base?
Yeah, so I'll break that up into a few questions there. So the first is in terms of the size of our network. We call it the Tutor Fly Community, which is what you touched on there. So we have about 1,000 parents on the platform, about 1,500 tutors. We're growing pretty quickly right now. And so when we talk about a community, what we mean is that tutors on the platform, they're either high school age tutors, college age tutors, maybe recent graduates, a gap year or two, be accepted into medical school or play for the Denver Nuggets, depending on what you're doing in your gap year training for that. And the cool thing that we're seeing, Mason, is that we're seeing college age Tutorfly tutors mentor the high school juniors and seniors that are making a huge decision, right? Do they go to Duke like Mason? Do they start at a local community college and then transfer? So we're seeing that. One of the things that excites us too is that 2 T's, so the students receiving the tutoring, right? You said the kids, so in kindergarten through 12th grade, they're looking up to these tutors as role models, as older brothers, older sisters. So when they get to high school and college, if they want to tutor, they can actually turn around and give back to their communities. And on the parent side, it's not always easy being a parent, especially right now with the coronavirus outbreak, where you're having to basically figure things out on the fly. We've never seen something like this before. So what if parents can provide advice to other parents? So we're building that parent community as well. And I guess to your second question about how we're growing, it is mostly word of mouth. So over 90% of our growth is word of mouth. It's mainly because we provide a quality service. We have quality tutors that are both empathetic, creative, and knowledgeable. And they simply do a really good job at a really affordable price. And parents tell their friends and tutors tell their friends. And we're going to hopefully continue to grow very organically.
Okay, quick interjection. My elementary school principal just said this is awesome, so it's official. Um, so
Awesome.
back to, you said it's affordable. How, I noticed that you don't charge fees on connecting tutors with the kids or with the
Yep.
students. Because I didn't realize it's more than just kids. You're doing high school, you're doing college.
Yep.
Um, how do you, as a business, as a startup, I'm sure you've gone through fundraising. I'm sure that you're trying to build something. So how do you guys make money at Tutorfly?
Yeah, so short answer to that is what we strongly believe is that tutors deserve to keep 100% of what they earn. So I guess to take a step back, people might not be familiar with how tutoring works. Usually there's a tutoring company, they vet and onboard tutors, and then they'll take anywhere from like 20% to up to 80% of what a client pays for tutoring. We don't believe that that's right, having gone through and being tutors for many years ourselves. So what Mason is touching on for everyone who's listening is that if a tutor sets his or her rate at $25 an hour, $30 an hour, and a parent is paying that price through per hour of tutoring, we don't charge any hidden fees, no tutoring packages. We don't take a percentage of the money off the top. 100% of what parents pay goes directly to the tutors. And the way that we can sustain that, which is you're kind of politely dancing around, well, Parsa, Tutorfly is great. My elementary school principal loves you guys. We want you to be around forever. How are you going to make money? So thank you for bringing that up. That's definitely top of mind for us. We do have plans to offer other packages. So maybe, some content down the road, crowdsourcing content from our users, but we really want to build this community. You are correct also that we're a venture-backed startup. So we've raised a sum of money that will allow us to keep this platform hopefully free here domestically forever. And while we're continually finding ways to monetize. So my co-founder Alejandro and I, it's just a two-person startup full-time in the Bay Area. And we're hopefully going to be continuing to hire and continuing to, build out ways that we can make money so we can be here long term.
Nice. One of the challenges I wanted to ask about was how do you maintain yourself as the intermediary? I've used apps that connect the user with a service like a massage app, like Zeal, for example, where okay, I meet the masseuse, they set it all up through the app, the payments process, all that. But then what's to keep the student and the tutor from outing you and just continuing a tutoring relationship?
Yeah, so and again for the users, what Mason's bringing up is pretty common in terms of the disintermediation. Point one, Mason, it really helps that we don't take commission. So tutors really trust us. They come on our platform, they can find clients, parents, same thing. We provide exceptional customer service and the tutors are here. There's also a lot when you think about why people stay on that we do behind the scenes that people might take for granted, but it allows tutors to focus on the tutoring. Is everything from payment processing to a calendar feature to secure messaging to an online lesson space during a coronavirus outbreak where people physically it's not safe to meet up in person. They can use our platform, and all of this is free of charge, right? It's part of the Tutorfly community, and it's part of the movement that we really want to build here. So I guess that's kind of a long-winded way of saying, in short, we provide a lot of value behind the scenes for our users.
Very cool. Are you doing anything to help families during the coronavirus outbreak?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, actually. So Alejandro and I made a joint decision that we wanted to make it as easy as possible for everyone affected by the outbreak to receive or to transition as smoothly as possible to the online experiences. So what we are providing is no questions asked. Any tutor and any family who uses a tutoring platform outside of Tutorfly or an individual tutor, right? My dad is a community college teacher here in the Bay Area, has been for 20 years. He tutors clients. He's using Tutorfly, so we set up a private account for him. We still take care of the payment processing. He can use our online lesson space, the messaging, organizes everything. So the transition from in-person tutoring to online can be as smooth as possible. This is indefinite. Anyone can use our platform. We'll just set up a private, a little setup for you with your existing clients. And what we like to say right now is it is a little bit difficult to transition to online, but if Parsa's dad can figure it out, then anyone can figure it out.
Very cool. So we have some questions coming in. So I'm just going to forward some of these to you, and you can answer
Sure.
if you see fit. Okay, Charles Sanderson
Sure.
says, as a teacher in a Title I school district where my students already have a massive opportunity gap, are you doing anything to provide tutors for low-income students as well?
Definitely. So Charles, thanks for that question. And short answer is yes. One of the points that I would, and sorry, by the way, let me back up for the other users. So Title I pegged school is a school that receives additional income from the government to spend in one of about 10 approved areas. At least 40% of the families at Title I schools are on free or reduced lunch, so they're lower income families, which is what Charles is referring to. Charles, I'd love to talk with you after this about some of the tests we've run, both at 10 LAUSD schools through communities and schools, which are all Title I schools, as well as here in the Bay Area. What we do is we pair those students with the 20% of our tutors. So right now, actually, it's over 300 of our tutors actually choose to volunteer on Tutorfly. And so there are two options. One is the tutors can set their rate at $0 an hour, which means that it's effectively free, right, for the tutee. Or the other option is that the tutors can still have their rates at $25 an hour, but maybe a wealthier family that's now paying half of what they would normally pay can donate some of the money that they would have paid to actually subsidize the cost of tutoring for the lower income families. So we've run some tests in Chicago, some tests in LA, and here in the Bay Area where we're from. So if you'd like to reach me, my email is parsa@tutorfly.org. Charles would be more than happy to speak offline about that.
Great. So you've done a really good job of showing us Tutorfly in the here and now. What's your vision going forward? I know you talked about potential international expansion, providing content. What's your Tutorfly in 5 years?
Yeah, so Tutorfly in 5 years, I guess in short, it would be we're everywhere within the United States. We've gone a little bit deeper in these metropolitan areas and also have expanded internationally. So really coming back to Mason, you touched on the point of community, right? So we talked about the domestic community that we're building here amongst parents, amongst tutors as well. But what about students in countries outside of the US, right, that want to live the American dream like my parents did, right, immigrating here? And starting better lives for themselves. Well, not everyone will have that opportunity, but what if these high school and university aged American Tutorfly tutors can build that sort of rapport with students internationally? And yes, we will provide the tutoring, but it's more than that, right? It's the educational content, it's the network that we will build. And yes, we will continue to grow as a tutoring platform. So I do strongly believe that in the 2020s and definitely in 5 years, peer tutoring will come to the forefront as, if not the most effective, recognized as the most effective tutoring option, definitely up there in the top couple. We don't know how the classroom learning environment will change with Common Core and as technology is introduced. But what we know at Tutorfly is that peer tutors will always be up to date with what's going on in the classroom learning environment. And oftentimes it's easier to learn from someone you view as a role model or an older brother or sister to complement what our amazing teachers are doing and to hopefully make their lives a little bit easier. So they can focus on the teaching and not necessarily everything else that they have to deal with on a daily basis.
Got it. Any more questions from the audience? Let's see. All 5 of you guys. Hopefully we have more than that. We'll see. I guess
Mason, I heard oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mason. I was just going to say, I heard what the audience really wants is a game of one-on-one between me and you, virtually quarantine style. You in Denver, me in the Bay Area. So maybe we can, set that up.
I'll tell you what,
time.
actually, it's out of the bag now because I put it on the event invite to this, but I tested positive, so I don't think anybody that wants to play is going to run.
Yep. I'd like to retract that.
Well, cool, man. So thanks for coming on. This is really good. Can we have Doug work in the back end. Doug, can we put up the screenshot of Tutorfly again so people can see the landing page and see how it lives online? See if we can get that.
And Mason, I think another question came in I saw about besides word of mouth, how we're getting the word out about Tutorfly and the product. Do you mind if we take that
Yeah.
question too before we wrap up? Okay, awesome. So I think it's from Tim I see here about how we're marketing the product essentially. So yeah, in short, word of mouth is fantastic. We want to continue to grow, hopefully a little bit faster. We couldn't do this without our community partners. So I guess touching on the comment that I made prior to Charles's question about Title I schools, we're only able to expand and provide our services in new areas because of partners in addition to word of mouth. So one such partner is communities and schools. So for the listeners, again, all 5 dedicated listeners that are there, if you look up communities and schools, they're the nation's largest dropout prevention program. They're in 2,400 K through 12 schools, kindergarten through 12th grade. They're like a broker for student services. So they'll pull together, resources for school. If students need pencils and paper to go to class, or they are hungry at school, they'll bring in and they'll organize meals. Or if someone needs academic help, right, they'll bring in Tutorfly. And so they've plugged us into some of these awesome new areas. So what I would say to, again, the 5 listeners, but hopefully all of your, within your network, if you could plug it in, that if we can help in any way, whether it's, Philadelphia youth basketball out in Philly to help some of the lower income students there, whether it's here in our hometown in the Bay Area, we would love to help. Our platform is open to anyone and everyone during this whole coronavirus outbreak, and we just want to build our community. So if you have ideas for partnerships, please again reach out to me at parsa@tutorfly.org, or generally to info@tutorfly.org, and we'd love to see if we can help.
We could have used you for my AAU team back in the day, so everybody could show up on the weekends.
I got you.
That
I'm the loudest one on the bench, so
for sure.
I got you for sure.
That last question was from Tim Stays. Tim, thanks. I was wondering how, I thought as the host I would get the questions, but I'm glad somebody's getting them.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to share with Tutorfly? I don't know where you saw that from, but if there are any others you want to ask for it.
No, I think I might have gone directly message that one, which is why I kind of threw it back into the mix there. I guess I would just love by closing by saying, if anyone has any sort of side hustle that they're working on, any sort of project, whether they're in college, right? I'm a recent graduate, Alejandro and I, my co-founder, or whether they're older and they have, like my dad always says, a wife and kids and a mortgage and a million other things to worry about. If it's anything educational related, this is what our team is passionate about. We would love to take the time to help individuals. And then the other thing is, yeah, don't hesitate to reach out, even if we've never spoken before. I don't know, Mason, if you've told anyone the story of how we met, but just briefly, I saw Mason at a conference. It was a tech conference in San Francisco. I think it was one of his off days. Don't tell his coach what he was doing during his off days. He should have been watching film or resting up. But I just saw this guy like 2 feet taller than everyone there. And I had never talked to Mason before. Yes, he helped me 09 or 2010 when Duke won the national championship, right, your freshman year. You helped me win my fantasy league, but that was the extent to our interaction. And I messaged you, I think I on LinkedIn or found your email or something.
Yeah, LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn, sent you a message, we connected, you followed what we were doing, and you invited me onto this podcast. So it never hurts. Yeah, a lot of people won't reach back out, but find Mark Cuban's email address, send him a note. Worst thing is he never responds, right? So that would be a big takeaway too. The 2 big takeaways: one is we at Tutorfly are open to helping in any way, and the second is just go for it.
Love it. Thanks for that advice. Thanks for being the first one. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we're going to record this and then we can post on LinkedIn, YouTube, different things. So as the followers grow, they can revisit.
Yeah.
You guys, you and Alejandro, love what you're doing. It really is a mission-based business. So we support, and thanks for coming on.
Sounds good, Mace. Thanks for your time, man.
Thanks, Parsa.